and welcome to From Blocks to Breakthroughs. Hope everybody's doing well out there. I'm so happy to be presenting to you today from Staten Island, New York, and for the first time ever with my partner, Jonathan Hannum.
Good afternoon.
So my name is Darlene Bowman. I am the founder of AusomeTech. I am a specialized teacher of students with disabilities, happily retired. I'm also the president of Computer Science Teachers Association, the Staten Island chapter. I'm an English professor at the College of Staten Island, and I am an Equity Fellow alumna from 2022 to 2023. And this is my partner, Jonathan.
Hello, my name is Jonathan Hannum. I am a lead teacher here for AusomeTech Industries. I also work for the College of Staten Island for a company called CUNY as a paraprofessional. I also make some Scratch projects on the side and also help people that want to build Scratch projects here for AusomeTech. I also have autism and dyslexia.
Jonathan is being a little bit modest when he says he dabbles on the side with Scratch. He is by far the best Scratcher that I know personally. So, kudos to you, Jonathan. So, I like to start by talking about goals of my students. As a high school teacher, I had students from the age of 14 through the age of 21. Jonathan is a former student of mine. And I asked, we actually filmed a documentary where I asked our students, what do you want to be when you grow up? And here are their responses.
When I grow up, I want to be a STEM teacher.
I want to be a firefighter.
When I grow up, I'm going to be the singer.
I'm going to work at Target.
I want to cook the food at McDonald's, serve it to everyone, and have a lunch break.
A firewoman.
A firefighter.
I want to be an artist.
I want to be a scientist. I want to be a hot dog vendor.
Be a waiter.
Like, wish I could be as a NASCAR driver.
I would love to be a math teacher.
I will be as a bellhop.
I like to be a computer expert.
All right. So, guys, grab your iPhones and your devices. And if you would take a minute to give us some feedback in one word, you'll actually have 3 words, but give us some feedback about what stood out to you from that video. And I'm going to log on myself so I can see some of the results. All right. So I'm seeing words like excited, emotional, future oriented, innovative, enthusiastic. This is a beautiful computer science expert. These are great responses, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to show the actual results, but let's try it.
They're very small.
Okay, I will make sure that this is available to all of you at the end. Let's see if anything else. Positive, innovative, unique. Oh, I love it. Thanks so much. Let me go on to the next slide. I'll make sure that these are available to you. So when you think about pathways, and I like to say neurotypical pathways, to the goals that we all have when we're in high school, or some of us get there a little bit later in life, like me. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but when I figured it out, there was a pathway to get there. And the neurotypical pathway involves going to high school graduation, going to college or trade school, and then finally you get that job of your dreams. Hopefully it's the job of your dreams, but if it's not, you can always go and get something else, right? For our neurodiverse students, the pathway is really not as clear. So in many instances, the future is uncertain. There's little to no meaningful computer science education. There are no higher education opportunities. And I'm speaking specifically for people with autism and other neurodiverse students that are in alternate assessment high schools, like the one that I worked in. When you're in alternate assessment high school, you don't graduate with an actual diploma that would even allow you to pursue higher education opportunities. And what is readily available when there's space are day hab programs. And as high school students, many of our students, they get the services that they need. It might be physical therapy, speech therapy, emotional support, and any sort of services that are available as high school students. They are by far reduced, if available at all, once they get to day habilitation programs. So now I want to talk about setting the stage for the pathways to possibilities. Jonathan, you want to take it from here?
There's so many pathways people can use with Scratch, and also Scratch can be used as a tool for everyday life. For example, someone can make what I want to do in my life, or what do I like to do. They can make Scratch animations, they can make just simple games, what they like to do. They can also shout out what they want to see happening to their day-to-day life. Scratch is a great tool, and it's also a great tool to use not just for special needs, but any generation.
That's right. And what I also wanted to point out is that when we started using Scratch in our high school back about 10 years ago, it wasn't clear. I don't even know how many people thought about what students with autism were capable of. But I can tell you that students with autism were absolutely underestimated. And while I felt in my heart that they can do anything, they just need the opportunity to be introduced to things that other students across New York City were exposed to. Even I was blown away by the outcome. So, and I had high expectations. So why Scratch animations, Jonathan? What's so great about Scratch?
There's a couple good reasons. Scratch animations can help people learn the basics of Scratch. I started learning computer-based coding through Scratch education by using block-based coding. Eventually, I was able to figure out how to use JavaScript, C, C, all these great computer coding with Scratch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not to mention that it's visual, right? All these blocks that you see on the screen, I mean, it just makes it makes coding possible. It's a safe place to experiment. If you make a mistake, you just throw the block in the trash and try again. And it's like just so it's so easy. It's easily shareable as well.
Of course.
And so our learners and our strengths.
A lot of people have strengths, including special needs kids. A lot of the kids, adults, babies, I keep repeating the same words.
Well, we're not going to say babies because
Yeah.
but early elementary on up,
Yes.
right?
Almost all of them have the strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
We always look for their strengths and legendary moves that they can do.
Mm-hmm.
All special needs kids, all special needs adults, every single one of them have something to do. Every single one of them has talent.
Mm-hmm.
And in Scratch, they can show off that talent. They
Mm-hmm.
can show what they want to do, what they can do.
Mm-hmm.
We have so many great, powerful students that want to do more for this community. And Scratch is showing them how they can do it.
Scratch is giving them a voice, and in many instances, students that have difficulty with verbal communication, um, they're great at showing what they learned using animation. So I like to think of animation as a language. And Jonathan, maybe you can share a little bit about you, which makes it just so remarkable. How much better you are at Scratch than I am.
I'm not as great as Solene thinks. I know the basics and can use that to my advantage. I started using Scratch when I was 15 and loved it ever since. I will still go on Scratch even off time just to see what's going on, see if anyone has new ideas.
Mhm.
When I first learning how to do Scratch, I learned from books, I learned from online lessons, and I learned from this fabulous teacher right here.
Well, what's even more remarkable is that Jonathan is autistic, and he also has dyslexia. And so to be introduced to a coding program that is just block based, and to be able to just communicate all, Jonathan is great at communicating anyway, but I just think that he's very a strong visual learner, and he's great at communicating verbally and through animation. And so that's just part of what makes his story remarkable. So teaching through Scratch, we'll talk a little bit about what works. And I don't know if you could tell, but I am so passionate. First of all, I absolutely love Scratch. It changed the lives of my students, and I'm a strong believer in utilizing tools that are great for helping others communicate. I had a colleague that says, for the neurotypical person, tech makes things easier. But for neurodiverse students, technology makes things possible. And I believe that so passionately. So, you know, when we talk about scaffolding the tech, like Jonathan stated earlier, he started with block-based coding, and he was able to, over time, actually pick up on text-based coding, which is challenging if you have dyslexia. But just having the background and the years of experience allowed him to move on and discover text-based coding, and to really be successful at it. Um, Another practice that works is just allowing time to explore. Exploration, play, that's practice. And it's something I wish I had more time to do. That's probably one of the reasons why Jonathan is so much better at Scratch than I am. Yeah.
Probably not.
Probably not, definitely not. But I always made it a point, if I'm introducing any topic, it could be, history, it could be the food pyramid, no matter what topic I introduced as a teacher, I would give students time to explore the topic in Scratch. They got that wonderful search bar on the top. And so if we're studying, scientists, they could type scientists in there and find a bunch of Scratch animations on scientists. And so if you have a student that struggles with organizing their thoughts in order to learn about a topic, or to discover a topic, they can just search in the Scratch bar and see a lot of what's out there and get ideas for what they possibly want to build, what animations they want to make, or what games they might want to make. Or if they struggle with coming up with their own ideas, that remix button is just amazing. I mean, when we talk about from blocks to breakthroughs, there's just nothing better, no program better. Um, I also like to talk about celebrating small wins. So if you see this little scratch card that I made, it kind of looks like the scratch login screen. I designed it that way specifically for my students. Each of our classes, I don't know how well you can see it, but each of our classes had their own class names. The students voted. So this scratch login sheet is actually from the Code Cats class. We had he was on the Code Legends class. We had Code Kings. We had all kind of code, classes. The students got to pick their class names and they got to pick their own tech names. And so creating a visual like this and giving it to the students allowed for greater independence when using Scratch. So when I say celebrating small wins, it really makes me think of two of my students. One I had as a high school teacher, and one I have with the CUNY Creative Exchange Program, where Jonathan currently is a paraprofessional. I have an adult student who struggled to log in. And so, even though it took a considerable amount of time, I would let the student struggle. You have the information in front of you. You can type, if it takes a long time to type it in, just imagine that feeling, the elation when you have logged in independently as a student by yourself. You press that enter and boom, there's Scratch or whatever program we might be logging into. That to some people might be a small win, but to that student, that is a huge win. It's immense because now that they've done it independently in class, they can go home and use Scratch or whatever program that they're using. But, I'm focusing on Scratch. When they can go home and do it themselves, that just opens up a level of independence that, for some, it might be a small win, but for others, it's life changing. I use the Scratch guides online. Okay, I'm old school. I have a picture of the creative computing book, but I did one better. I actually have my creative coding book. This book is like 10 years old. It's jagged.
Okay, we're back.
Are we back?
Yeah.
Okay, thank goodness. Woo. All right. I don't know the creative computing book from 10 years ago. I don't know what happened, but but we're back. Okay. So I still use that guide. And I mean, I know that there are video tutorials. My students love the video tutorials. I'm more of the old school. I like to use the book. Um, we also use the critique group, which is in the creative computing book, and we practice during class time giving warm feedbacks to each other's projects. Do you remember? Do you remember doing
Yeah.
that? So warm feedbacks, they're color coded. The green is like something that you really liked. The yellow is something that you were unsure about, and the red is the way I phrased it with my students, because I differentiated a little bit from the actual book. But it's like, if you were making this animation, what would you change about it? And so you're giving feedback, and the creators getting feedback about their project in like a really like a non-confrontational or a non injurious, I guess you could say, way. Um, I also created these laminated scratch cards on the bottom. I'm guessing, hopefully, you're seeing it on the bottom left. I have a repeat until block, and I have an if then or else block. And so we would lay those out on the table, and students would create code using the laminated blocks. and then try to guess what would happen or try to predict what would happen when they actually ran that code. And so for our paired programming, one person might have the laminated blocks and do the tabletop coding, and then their partner would see if their guesses work or their predictions work. The last thing I wanted to talk about was the student checklist. So what I've given an example of one that I created that's probably a little more complicated. Some checklists can be as simple as, did you put a title? Let the student check. Did you press the orange share button? Let the student check. And anything that's important to you that you want to impart to your students when you're teaching them how to use Scratch. If you allow them to use to use their checklist, that's another level of independence, right? Because then they know at the end of their project, they can go down the checklist and see everything that they've done right, and then share and then get the warm feedback. So here's another example of paired programming. I just want to say something about paired programming. When I was learning Scratch myself as a teacher, I want to say back in 2015, paired programming was like the catchphrase, and it meant like the two of us are here and we're sharing the laptop, and I'm doing something, and then it's my partner's turn to do something. And what I found is that in the self-contained special education classroom, that didn't work. It didn't even work in the teachers who were learning Scratch classroom, because I had some awkward experiences where I was like, oh, is it my turn to touch the computer? And like the teacher whose computer it was like, oh, it was a little off-putting. I like having students work together in paired programming on their own individual devices. And if someone has a question, or if they're trying to problem solve or figure something out together, one partner could help another. And I'm just going to show you a very quick video. I hope the sound is good, but I think the closed captioning is on if it's not.
Hey Tia, how do you change the color on your backdrop?
What I did is that I picked the backdrop from the stage. So I picked Neon Tunnel, which is you go here and you go to space, and I picked the Neon Tunnel. Once I picked that, I decided to stay in the backdrop, and I go to the paint area where you do the different colors. I went to the bucket and I just drag it around to make it look more neon.
Pretty cool. Interesting. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
More of my adorable students. I have another best practice. Let's see if I can get to that.
Hey Tia, how do you change the
So another best practice, which is something, Jonathan, did I ask your permission to be manipulating your keyboard before we started?
You're good.
Another best practice is like show respect to your students, right? If someone needs help, don't just like jump in and grab their keyboard. I'll show you what I do in my classes and what I instruct my interns and my paraprofessionals to do.
Can you help me? Well, that's
Sure. Is it okay if I touch your computer?
yeah.
Okay.
So I should have prefaced this by saying it's always better to have a second laptop and to show by doing on your laptop, and then let the student follow the instructions, based on what the assistant showed them. What you don't want to have is a student sitting idly by while someone else has their hands on their keyboard doing their creative work for them. And I know that people mean well when they do that, but it's kind of like it reinforces a learned helplessness, which I found prevalent when working with students with special needs. They're so used to people jumping in and doing for them that it's like, oh, okay, well, I don't really have to do it. I don't have to learn how to do it. Somebody's going to come over when I look like I don't know what's happening, and they're going to do it for me. And I've encountered many more students that just are like, okay, I asked for help, and now like I can't get my hands back on my keyboard. So and it's all out of someone wanting to be really helpful, but what ends up happening is that the students don't get to express their creativity. And so I tell my staff, like, if your fingers are on someone else's keyboard for too long, then you're doing their project. If you want to do the project, I'll give you your own laptop. Right, John? How many times have I said that? Huh? So yeah, so just like another best practice is just respect student devices. And here's a little bit longer video that I want to show you. This is one of my other students. I had him as a high school teacher, I had him as a high school student, and he is also in our AusomeTech classes now as an adult at the College of Staten Island. And when he was younger, he filmed a TED Ed talk for a project that we did, and I'd love to share that with you. He encapsulates what From Blocks to Breakthroughs is all about. So enjoy.
And action. Hi, everybody. My name is Kevin. I like singing and dancing. I am a really good student. I love karaoke and I love to make games on the computer. My favorite games to play are Good Ninja and Candy Crush. But I really love to create games on and animations. I do this every day, and I learned how to do this in my high school. You might think, okay, lots of people like to make games, and a lot of high schools have computer and technology classes. Well, take a look at what computers in my high school was like just a few short years ago. Okay, it wasn't that bad, but this is the equipment that I was using until 2016.
That's true.
Yes, this is what we used in our technology class. I used to look at YouTube videos and I learned how to practice typing games on CD-ROMs whenever the computers worked. Yeah, oh yes, we used to practice data entry, which was just typing a bunch of numbers or addresses on a screen. I guess it's good to learn how to do that stuff, but it was boring. Then one day, my school was selected to receive this amazing grant, the CFO All Software Engineering Program and grant. Our computer lab went from this to this. I learned how to make games with sprites from using websites like code.org, Masquerade, and Scratch. Now, I can create animations, games, websites, digital posters, iPad photos, and I can even use a green screen. Here's one of my favorite animation that I made. Learning how to code changed my life. I travel all over New York City touring the games that I helped make at technology fairs and hackathons. I even presented at the CUNY Games conference with college students and professors. Me and my friends were the only high school students to present at the conference. I was really proud of that. By the way, it's not just me. Take a look at my friends from the after school STEM club. We won this amazing diversity in TEAC award. This was my favorite event. Those things never would have happened if someone didn't take a chance on a bunch of young people with autism like me. My school had the first STEM lab made for kids with autism. We've got brand new MacBook Pros, like robotics kits. We got everything that other high schools get for kids to learn computer science. And I made friends from all over on Scratch. They liked my project and I liked theirs. And then we follow each other kind of like people do on Instagram. But I don't have my own Instagram account yet. We had hackathons in my school. We even invited people from other schools to come and learn with us. CFO even made a mobile movie about my school. It's only 5 minutes. You should click it, check it out sometime. We wrote and filmed a holiday television show and made a film called it Autism at Work. You can't even imagine all of the take opportunities that came from learning computer science and learning how to make games. When I graduate, which is coming up really soon, I want to get a job in technology making animations and maybe singing. Did I tell you I'm a really good singer? Change can only happen when people know that students with autism are awesome at some many things, even being creators in technology. We just need a chance to show off what we can do because some of us can say what we like or what we're good at. Autism affects communication in many people. That's this one of the reasons that I march with my family, my friends, and teachers to bring attention to CFO autism. I want to make sure that all kids with autism can get a mindful, fun computer science education. Someone decided to take a chance on me and my school. So now I'm here to make sure that other students can have the same opportunity that I did. You never know how one small step can change the life of someone else. Like me. Thank you.
Kevin makes such a compelling argument for computer science for autism, and I just want to say I'm really proud that the CS for All program back in 2015 accepted us. We were the first District 75, which is self-contained special education, alternate assessment. These students do not take standardized exams. They accepted us into the program with the main goal of helping other students that learn differently, that test differently, helping them become part of what every other student in New York City was learning, and that is computer science for all, and they really meant for all. So we were proud to be at the forefront of that. So from projects to purpose, John, you want to take it away?
So these projects that you're seeing on screen right now are projects that some of our students, including myself, have made over the years. For this particular example, we have two of our newest projects. one of them being made by a female creator and one of them being made by me. Some of these can be very fun and some of these can be educational. Like for example, if you are feeling stressed out, you may want to look up a scratch project.
How to handle being anxious. You know what? I'm not. I hope this is going to play properly.
It's probably not going to.
Well, let's give it a shot and see. If it doesn't play properly, we'll make sure that you guys have the links for these projects.
Yes.
But I'm going to try to open it and see what we can get going.
No, it does not.
No, it did not. Oh, that's a bummer. Okay. Oh, sorry about that, guys. Ooh. All right, so I'm just gonna. This was a great. Oh, sorry. This is a amazing project. How to handle being anxious. That one of my students created after a lesson on handling overwhelming emotions. And so, how this project works is you click on number one, and she tells you how she's feeling. Anxious, upset, and and overwhelmed. Click on box two. Then she learned what to do when she's feeling that way. Take deep breaths, breathing in and out. And then you click on box three, and she says something to the effect of like, now I feel chill. You guys have really got, I mean, we're going to put the links in the chat, or hopefully you'll have access to these slides. It is a fantastic project that was made. It literally showed everything that my student, who she's very verbal, but she cannot describe her feelings very well. So this animation, number one, is a perfect how-to for students that are struggling with how to handle the emotions. And number two, it was a perfect way to assess what did she learn after this unit on handling emotions. So I'm really upset that we can't share this How to Talk to Your Boss Part 3. This was made by Jonathan, and it is absolutely incredible and hilarious. John, you want to talk about
So
it?
there are three parts to this. Just showing you how to talk to your boss, how you should look like, how you should be professional, like not how to act right, not how to not act up right.
Mm-hmm.
Just pretty much showing you what you have to do or what you should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just pretty much the basics. There are better videos and projects out there that go into much detail than mine.
Oh.
I'm being that serious.
I'm going to stop him right here. This video is hilarious, and it describes what you should do and what you should not do when you're speaking to your boss. And like John said, it's a 3-part series. We're going to share it. You guys are going to absolutely love it. And this is also part of the how to scratch animations that that we created as a part of our membership for the Scratch Educators Collaborative. So I think you guys are going to enjoy it. And again, apologies for not being able to show it to you right now, but please, when you have time, take a few minutes. You're going to thoroughly enjoy it. These are only 2 of the animations that we made during our time with the Scratch Education Collaborative. So there are several of them, and I'll try to compile them. Well, actually, Jonathan will compile them into a studio because, he's a little bit better than I am. So you know what? I think this would be the perfect time to talk about Jonathan's journey. And he's going to share with you how learning computer science has helped him in his adult life. And he'll talk a little bit about what he does at his day-to-day job.
So what I do for my day-to-day job, I am a paraprofessional for CSI for a specific company for CUNY. I've been there for a little bit over a year for a full semester. But when I was 15, I helped make this video. Where can you see yourself in 10 years? And I said, be a STEM teacher. At the time, I wasn't sure where I would be. And now here I am teaching our students what they need to do, how to show them to do it in multiple different ways, not the correct way. Just show them, hey, you can do it this way, this way, this way. You don't have to do it the correct way. You can also do what you want to do any student, any young adult, anyone with special needs, does not matter what you have. You can be who you want to be. Never think, oh, after I go to high school, I'm going to whatever this program is. Figure out what you want to do at a very young age. Start at 15 to 16. That is the best window to figure out where you want to be and start working on it right there and then. Even people with non disabilities, start looking for it.
I want to add to that. Jonathan said, start when you're 15 or 16. I just want to say that I was about 32 when I decided what I want to be when I grow up. So starting at 15 or 16 is like just amazing. But the fact that Jonathan said at the age of 15 that when he grows up, he wants to be a STEM teacher. And the fact that he is sitting here beside me right now, not only as a lead teacher with AusomeTech, but he is a CUNY paraprofessional, which is just City University of New York, working here at the College of Staten Island. Yes, they did try to steal him from AusomeTech. And I put the kibosh on that. I said, you can have him, but when it's time to teach, this is what he's always wanted to do. And this is what he's going to do. And so he still gets to teach with me and then I hold his position as a CUNY paraprofessional. Simply amazing. And so, it's rare to know, to be that focused and to know what you want to do as a 15-year-old with autism and dyslexia, and then it's just to make that dream come true. And so part of why we are sharing this concept, the blocks of breakthroughs, and the main focus of why I started AusomeTech is to give students like you've seen today the opportunity to make their dreams and their goals come true. So thank you, John, for sharing that.
Of course.
All right, so here's some things that Jonathan's going to talk to you about, some of the events that we've actually been able to do.
So these are some of the events that we've been to. We've been to so many. We've been on the USS Intrepid Museum for an event. We've been to, well,
STEM fair.
some fairs.
Yeah.
Some fairs across the, well, I almost say United States.
Across New York
across the
City.
New York City. We've been to hackathons. We've been to, well, we've been to everywhere. Almost anywhere that's appointed to New York City, we've been there.
Mhm.
We went to District 75. We had our own events here on Staten Island. We were at Radnor. We were at Great Kills.
Mhm.
We went to not Boston,
Mhm.
Boston.
MIT Robotics Lab.
We've been through all that. Some of these that I see right now is some of our greatest students that we ever have.
Yeah.
Even ones that you don't really see, they're still the greatest students that we can ever have.
Yeah. So our AusomeTech students had the absolute pleasure of visiting MIT Robotics Lab and writing code. And as you can see from the picture, it's block-based code. So like what they learned, they can use in so many different areas. Um, uh, Block-based coding, they literally got to code robots, social emotional learning robots at MIT, where, as they said, science is created. I love that. You want to tell them a little bit more?
So a lot of stuff that they have done in the past, even when the company was not even created, we were still building before we even get set as a company. The pictures I see in front of you is from a college supportive group, which we were able to attend. We were the only high school that was also there, and we were the only school with special needs. We were showing off a couple games, one of them being is Ammo Rescue Go, a first time game for us to ever build.
Yeah.
And the other things that we have done during those events and going to hackathons is showing, hey, this is what we're doing. We know it's not perfect, but we are trying our best.
Yeah. And so what Jonathan didn't mention about this, the Animal Rescue Go, is we were invited to a hackathon. Our students were the only students with autism that appeared at the hackathon. And it was one of the goals is to create something for the humane society that is actionable and that is fun. And so for those of you who have not been to Staten Island, we are, for some unknown reason, overrun with deer and turkeys.
Yes.
So they made Animal Rescue Go to just like pinpoint, count the deer. And then I think maybe another version had like count the turkeys. And then if we could have developed it further into an actual app, maybe some geolocation would have been going on and they could come and like tag the deer or feed the deer or like what we didn't know what Humane Society would actually do, but we made a fun way for people to recognize what was happening. And for the CUNY Games Conference, as Jonathan said, we were the only high school there. And in this picture in the middle, Jonathan is literally showing a CUNY professor how to play a game that he and his students and friends made. So I mean, we've just had some really remarkable experiences because of Scratch, because of learning Scratch. So we're in the interest of time. I just want to leave you guys with these questions just to think about. You don't have to turn and talk right now, but like think, what does a neurodiverse friendly Scratch classroom look like? And so we talked about some of the things that will be important to have in the classroom, some of the best practices. And so the key takeaways that we'd like to leave you guys with is Scratch is a storytelling tool. Creative freedom enables success. Animations give voice to people who have trouble with verbal communication. And it's literally been my experience for the past really more than 10 years, but 10 years when I've specifically been doing computer science with students with autism and other learning disabilities. I mean, it is remarkable what you would learn from students by looking at what they do, on devices using technology, and specifically with block-based coding. It allows for better assessment of student learning. Imagine if you had the option to, let me take a test to show you what I learned from this unit, or let me build you an animation that will tell you what I learned from this unit. I mean, that's a no-brainer. And it's a confidence builder. Jonathan sits here in front of you all as a 25-year-old high school graduate, CUNY employee, like the most confident guy on the planet, okay, if you ask me. But I've known him since he was 13, and he didn't start out that way. He was really shy. He was reserved. He was extremely mature. So maybe he was just being shy because he was too grown up for the other kids in the class. I don't know. But I've watched him develop over the years, him and as well as all of my other students. But I can tell you that learning to code, learning block-based coding for us, which started with Scratch, is absolutely a confidence builder. And so at this time, we'd like to go through any questions. And let's see, I'm going to go through
This one right here. Click on this one.
Oh, comments?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So let's see. Okay. Oh, thank you. Yes. So, yeah, those are comments. The questions that I see are like, yeah, so we can definitely post. I can't copy and paste at this moment, but you guys will have our contact information.
Yes.
And so if you email us, first of all, we'll make everything available through the Google Slides. I'm not sure if that's being shared, but you will have access to that. And if you want any links, I see that people want the links to the projects and to the warm feedback sheet, the student checklist. The warm feedback should be online in the creative computing, but I'm going to share everything that you've seen here. And please feel free to reach out to us because part of our purpose with AusomeTech is to just spread the need for computer science education. We call it CS for Autism. We want to spread that around the world. And speaking of around the world, we didn't mention that we've met students from United Arab Emirates, from Bahrain. I mean, my students have coded with students around the world, and it's
Crazy.
just been incredible, right, John?
Exactly.
So as we close out, just want to say, I'm a huge fan. I got to meet Mitch, the maker of Scratch. And if anyone out there is listening, our next trip to MIT, we love to check out the Media Lab, right, John?
Exactly.
I'm a huge fan. I totally nerded out when I met him, as you can see from my face there and my face right now. And so we want to thank the Scratch Educators Collaborative. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts for having us present. This is another milestone that Jonathan has made. It's our first presentation together at a major conference, and we're so happy and we're so thankful to be here. So thank you, SEC, for making this happen. We're so appreciative. And please, this is our contact information. That's our website. Don't hesitate to contact us. Thank you so much.